What if the single biggest reason your manifestations aren't working is because you're trying entirely too hard? What if the real secret to quantum manifestation has nothing to do with visualizing harder, affirming longer, or forcing yourself to feel positive, but instead involves a principle that feels completely counterintuitive? For those of us on a path of conscious creation, we've been conditioned to believe that effort equals results. We're taught to identify a goal in the future and then relentlessly apply pressure and focus to close the gap between where we are now and where we want to be. But this very model contains an invisible mistake, a subtle error in physics and metaphysics that keeps your desire perpetually at arm's length. The mistake is this: the act of striving, of wanting, of trying to get there is a vibrational broadcast that powerfully affirms your current state of not having it. Chasing a desired outcome is like trying to catch the reflection of the moon in a lake. The more you lunge for it, the more you disturb the water, and the more the image shatters and slips away. It is an exhausting, frustrating chase that reinforces the distance. I worked with a woman, an architect named Clara, who spent nearly a decade trying to land a career-defining project. She did everything by the book: scripting, vision boards, networking. For 9 years, she met with nothing but near misses and dead ends. Then, in a moment of sheer exhaustion, she did something completely different. She gave up. And within 3 weeks, a project even bigger and better than the one she had been chasing landed in her lap, almost effortlessly. What did she do in that moment of surrender? That is the secret we are unpacking today. If you are tired of techniques that feel like a second job and are ready for a paradigm shift that clicks with both your intellect and your intuition, you've found your space. This channel is dedicated to that deeper path, so consider subscribing to join the conversation. The profound shift that Clara made, and the one we're exploring now, is a complete reversal of the creative process we've all been taught. It's built on a very simple, yet paradigm-shattering foundation. You do not manifest by becoming. You manifest by being. Let that land for a moment. All the effort, the striving, the hustle, it's all oriented around the idea that you are here, and your desired self is over there, and you must heroically build a bridge to that future. But what if there is no bridge to build? What if the destination is also the starting point? This is where we can borrow a concept from the edges of quantum physics called retrocausality. In essence, it's the idea that the future can influence the present. Think of it this way: your desired reality, the one where you are fulfilled, healthy, and abundant, doesn't exist in some distant future you have to create from scratch. It already exists as a fully formed potential in the infinite field of possibility. And right now, in this very moment, that future reality is broadcasting a frequency back in time, like a radio station. Your frustration, that feeling of being stuck, isn't a sign that you're not trying hard enough. It's a sign that your receiver, your emotional and energetic body, is tuned to the wrong station. You're trying to force a broadcast when your only job is to tune your dial to receive it. When we look at Clara's story, her moment of surrender wasn't an act of defeat. It was an act of profound alignment. She stopped sending out the desperate, static-filled signal of wanting, and, in the resulting silence, her system could finally tune into the clear, calm signal of the reality that was waiting for her all along. This flips everything on its head and leads us to a far more potent question. What if your future is already here, just waiting for you to notice? So how do we practically apply this principle of manifesting from the end? How do we tune our receiver to that future broadcast? The process itself is elegantly simple, but it requires a level of presence that many of us have been conditioned to ignore. It breaks down into 3 core phases: a clear decision, emotional embodiment, and total surrender. The first step is to choose your reality. This is not the same as asking, wishing, or hoping. A wish comes from a place of powerlessness. A choice comes from a place of creative authority. You must decide, with calm finality, which reality from the infinite quantum menu you are choosing to experience. Think of it as setting a destination in a GPS. You don't scream at it or beg it to work. You simply input the coordinates with the clear expectation that the path will be revealed. This decision is an energetic contract you make with yourself and the quantum field. It is a quiet, internal declaration that this is now my reality. The second step, and this is the engine of the entire process, is emotional embodiment. If your decision is the destination, your emotional state is the vehicle that gets you there. This is where we go beyond intellectual understanding and into the actual mechanics. Imagine the quantum field is like the airwaves, filled with an infinite number of broadcasts, each on its own unique frequency. There's a poverty station, a loneliness station, a struggle station. But there are also stations for effortless abundance, deep connection, and vibrant health. Your body, specifically your coherent heart-brain connection, is the most sophisticated radio receiver in the universe. Your emotions are the tuning dial. This is precisely what researchers like Dr. Joe Dispenza are talking about when they refer to creating elevated emotions. When you generate a feeling of gratitude, not for what you have, but for the reality you have chosen, you are generating a measurable, coherent electromagnetic signature. This isn't just a nice idea, it's physics. Your heart emits a powerful magnetic field, and when your thoughts, brain, are aligned with your feelings, heart, that field becomes incredibly orderly and powerful. This coherent signal is what tunes your receiver. This brings us to a grounded understanding of the observer effect. In quantum physics, possibilities exist as waves in the field until they are observed. But the most powerful observer isn't just your passive attention, it is your feeling-based focus. When your energetic signature, dictated by your embodied emotions, perfectly matches the energetic signature of a potential reality in the field, you observe it into existence. You collapse the wave of possibility into a particle of experience. This is the essence of true quantum manifestation. It's not about mentally picturing a new car. It is about generating the feeling of freedom and security that the car represents, thereby becoming a vibrational match to the reality where it exists. The third and final step is complete surrender. Once you have tuned the radio to the station, you don't stand there anxiously fiddling with the dial. You trust that the music will play. You let go. This is the ultimate act of faith. It's the signal that you trust the process is complete. You go about your day, living from that new emotional state, unconcerned with the how or the when. For those of us on this path, this three-part process, choose, embody, surrender, is the master key. It shifts creation from a stressful act of force to a peaceful state of allowance and quantum alignment. If the key is to feel and be, then it becomes clear why so many of our most dedicated logical efforts have not only been ineffective, but have often made things worse. These common missteps come from a place of good intention, but they are built on the flawed premise of chasing the future. The most prevalent example is the practice of repeating affirmations while your body is in a state of lack. Many of us have stood in front of a mirror, dutifully saying, "I am abundant and prosperous," while our nervous system is simultaneously contracting with the very real stress of unpaid bills. In that moment, we are creating a state of profound incoherence. As cell biologist Dr. Bruce Lipton has powerfully demonstrated, our cells and our subconscious mind respond to the environment and the energy of our beliefs, not just the words we say. When your words say one thing and your feelings scream another, the body believes the feeling every single time. You are unintentionally reinforcing the energetic signature of scarcity, creating a dissonance that sends a confusing, static-filled signal to the quantum field. This leads us directly to the great paradox of wanting. We must understand this with absolute clarity. The state of wanting is the energetic frequency of not having. Wanting is a declaration of absence. When you are in a state of want, you are a perfect vibrational match for the reality in which your desire is absent. Therefore, the universe, which is an impartial mirror of energy, can only reflect more of that absence back to you. Now, think about how we've been taught to use our tools. A vision board is a perfect example. There is nothing wrong with a vision board, but if you look at it and feel a pang of longing, a painful reminder of the gap between your now and your then, that board is actively working against you. It becomes a monument to what you lack. The same goes for scripting. If you write page after page from a place of desperate hope, trying to convince the universe to grant your wish, you are just marinating in the energy of not having. If you've ever felt this way, this frustrating cycle of trying so hard, using all the tools, and feeling like you're just spinning your wheels, it's because we've all been taught to chase. But that chase is the very thing that keeps the dream out of reach. So, if you're hearing all this and recognizing your own journey in these missteps, the affirmations that felt hollow, the vision board that brought more longing than inspiration, I want you to take a deep, slow breath right here. Just pause for a moment. Please let this message sink into your bones. It is not your fault. You haven't failed. You haven't been doing it wrong out of some personal deficit. You've simply been using a flawed map, a map that was given to you with the best of intentions. You have been manifesting forward, trying to push a reality into existence through sheer force of will, instead of manifesting from the end, where you simply allow an already finished reality to reveal itself to you. The profound relief in this understanding is that the solution isn't another complex technique to master or another 5-step process to add to your already full plate. The shift is not about doing more. It is about being more. It is an internal pivot. It is a release of the tension you've been holding, a surrender of the struggle. This is a direct invitation to your heart. You do not have to work or strive or earn your way to becoming your future self. That version of you, the one who is already living with the peace, the love, or the freedom you desire, already exists. They are not a distant stranger you have to build from scratch. They are a dormant aspect of who you are right now, a potential waiting patiently to be activated. Your only work is to remember them, to feel them, to let their emotional signature flow through you today. If this truth lands for you, if it feels like a weight has been lifted from your shoulders, help it reach someone else who might be feeling that same exhaustion. A simple like on this video sends a signal that this message is valuable, and it helps it find the people who need to hear that their struggle is not a sign of failure, but simply a call to a new, more graceful path. So let's just take a quiet moment here. No new information, just a space for this to integrate. I want to invite you to ask yourself a question, and please don't answer with your mind. Answer with your body, with your feeling state. What would your life feel like right now if you truly and completely believed it had already happened? Just feel that for a second. The release in your shoulders, the softening in your jaw, the quiet calm that comes when the chase is finally over. Now here's the second question. Who would you be today if you stopped trying to get there and started living from there? How would you walk through your home? How would you speak to the people you love? What decisions would you make from that place of wholeness rather than from a place of striving? This feeling, this state of being you are touching right now, is the essence of the shift Clara made. It wasn't a new strategy she learned. It was a state of being she finally allowed herself to relax into. For those of us who are waking up to this quantum reality, we are realizing that this is the actual work. It's not in the mind. It's a profound shift that we are beginning to feel in our nervous systems, in our cells. It's the move from thinking about the future to truly embodying it. That feeling you just tapped into, that state of being, is your new North Star. The question now is, how do we make it our default state? The answer lies not in complexity, but in consistency. It's about integrating small, simple actions that, when done daily, rewire your brain and recondition your body to live in this new reality. Here are 2 powerful practices you can start today. The first is what I call the 3-minute morning alignment. Before you touch your phone, before you let the world's energy rush in, just sit at the edge of your bed, close your eyes, and for 3 minutes, your only task is to find the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Don't strain to visualize anything. Instead, Ask your body, what is the emotional signature of my desire being a done deal? It might be a deep sense of peace in your chest, a feeling of expansive relief, or the quiet joy of gratitude. Find that feeling, amplify it, and let it marinate in every cell of your body. Then, and this is the most critical step, you completely and totally surrender the outcome. You drop it. You release it to the quantum field with the implicit trust that your work is done. Your only job was to generate the signal. The universe will handle the delivery. The second practice is the memory journal. This is a powerful way to reprogram your subconscious mind. Instead of scripting what you want to happen, you are going to write about your current challenges as if they are memories from the past. Start your journal entry with the phrase, "I remember when." For example, instead of writing, "I want to find a loving partner," you would write, "I remember when I used to feel lonely, and it feels so incredible now to wake up next to someone I adore." This simple linguistic shift bypasses the critical mind, which can't argue with a memory, and begins to encode the new reality as an established fact in your neural wiring. So many people in this community who have committed to these two simple practices are already seeing profound changes. They report more synchronicities, unexpected opportunities, and a general sense of ease and flow. It's not because they're doing more, but because they have finally shifted their state of being. This is the practical application of quantum manifestation. It's about making coherence your home base. And for those of you who want a structured, guided path to make this your default state, I've created a journey called The Trail. It's not more information to consume. It's a system for embodiment, a day-by-day process to help you deepen and organize everything we've discussed today, so that living from the end becomes your second nature. If that feels like a supportive next step for you, the link is waiting for you in the description below. Now, it is absolutely critical that we have a real conversation about what this path looks like day to day. It is not a straight line to perfection. You are going to forget. Your old subconscious programming, which has been running for decades, will absolutely kick in. You'll have a stressful day, and you'll find yourself right back in that familiar, tight state of wanting, of striving, of checking the 3D world for proof. That is not a failure. I want to repeat that. It is not a sign that this isn't working. It is a completely normal and expected part of the reprogramming process. The real victory for those of us on this path is not measured by our ability to achieve a permanent state of flawless alignment. That's an unrealistic goal that sets us up for disappointment. The true mastery is found in how quickly we notice that we've drifted, and how gently and compassionately we guide ourselves back. The goal is to shorten the return trip. Think of your energetic state like a finely tuned instrument. Life, a difficult conversation, a piece of bad news, a moment of self-doubt, will inevitably knock it out of tune. The goal of a master musician isn't to possess an instrument that never needs tuning. The skill lies in developing a sensitive ear to hear the moment a string goes flat, and knowing exactly how to turn the peg to bring it back into perfect harmony. Everyone walking this road stumbles. That is how we strengthen the muscles of our awareness. What matters is not perfection, but the grace of the return. This brings us back to Clara and the resolution of her story. That moment of surrender, where she let go of her decade-long chase, was everything. In giving up the struggle, she finally stopped broadcasting the chaotic, desperate signal of wanting. She stopped trying to manifest the project and simply started being a creative, fulfilled architect who was happy in her life, with or without it. Her state shifted from the tension of lack to the peace of wholeness. She didn't attract her dream. She finally allowed the reality that had been waiting for her to arrive. So now, as a symbolic declaration to yourself and to the quantum field that you are ready to make this same powerful shift, I invite you to embody this truth. Go to the comments below and find one single word that represents the core feeling of your desire already being real. It might be relief, peace, home, free, whatever resonates in your body. Type that single word. It's not a wish, it's not a hope. It is your personal anchor, a statement of fact from the reality you are now choosing to inhabit. This is your signal. This is the moment you stop chasing the reflection and remember that you are the source. Each word shared below amplifies our collective field of coherence. We are doing this together. You are not someone still struggling to learn how to manifest. You are someone remembering how reality truly works. The very fact that you've resonated with this message shows that something deep inside of you already knows this truth. Quantum manifestation is not another method to practice or a technique to master. It is who you are when your mind and heart come into coherence, when your energy is aligned with the version of you that already exists. This journey doesn't end here. It begins here, in the small, daily choices to return to alignment, to embody the feeling of your future now. Each moment you remember, you are strengthening the identity of the one who no longer chases, but simply allows. If you feel this message in your cells, if it feels like you've come home to something you've always known, then this space is for you. Consider subscribing, because every new video is another step deeper into this path. The next steps are already unfolding, and we'll walk them together.